Chapter 5 The Material and Sources of Dreams. The somatic sources of dreams. The nature of the dream is not alerted when somatic material is added to the psychic dream sources. It will remain a wish fulfillment, no matter how its expression is determined by the actual material available. The somatic sources of dream. The nature of the dream is not alerted when somatic material is added to the psychic dream sources. It will remain a wish fulfillment no matter how its expression is determined by the actual material available. I should like to find room here for a number of peculiarities which are able to modify the significance of external stimuli for the dream. I imagine that a cooperation of individual, psychological, and accidental factors, which depend on the circumstances of the moment, determines how one will behave in individual cases of more intensive objective stimulation during sleep. Habitually or accidentally profundity of sleep in conjunction with the intensity of the stimulus will in one case make it possible so to suppress the stimulus that it will not disturb the sleep, while in another case it will force the sleeper to wake or will assist the attempt to subdue the stimulus by weaving it into the texture of the dream. I should like to find room here for a number of peculiarities which are able to modify the significance of external stimuli for the dream. I imagine that a cooperation of individual, psychological, and accidental factors which depend on the circumstance of the moment determines how one will behave in individual cases of more intense objective stimulation during sleep, habitually or accidentally. Profundity of sleep in conjunction with the intensity of the stimulus will in one case make it possible so to suppress the stimulus that it will not disturb the sleeper, while in another case it will force the sleeper to wake or will assist the attempt to subdue the stimulus by weaving it into the texture of the dream. In accordance with the multiplicity of these constellations, external objective stimuli will be expressed more rarely or more frequently in the case of one person than in that of another. In my own case, since I'm an excellent sleeper and obstinately refuse to allow myself to be disturbed during sleep on any pretext whatever, this intrusions of external causes of excitation into my dreams is very rare. Various psychic motives apparently cause me to dream very easily. Indeed, I have noted only a single dream in which an objective, painful sources of stimulation is demonstrable, and it will be highly instructive to say what exact the external stimulus had in this particular dream. In accordance with the multiplicity of these constellations, external objective stimuli will be expressed more rarely or more frequently in the case of one person than in that of another. In my own case, since I'm an excellent sleeper and obstinately refuse to allow myself to be disturbed during sleep on a pretext whatever, this intrusion of external causes of excitation into my dreams is very rare. Various psychic motives apparently cause me to dream very easily. Indeed, I have noted only a single dream in which an objective, painful source of stimulation is demonstrable, and it will be highly instructive to see what effect the external stimulus had in this particular dream. I'm riding a grey horse, at first timidly and awkwardly, as though I were merely carried along. Then I meet a colleague, P, also on horseback and dressed in rough frieze. He is sitting erect in the saddle. He calls my attention to something, probably to the fact that I have very bad seat. Now I begin to feel more and more at ease on the back of my highly intelligent horse. I sit more comfortably, and I found that I'm quite at home up here. I'm riding a grey horse, at first timidly and awkwardly, as though I were merely carried along. Then I meet colleague P, also on horseback and dressed in rough frieze. He is sitting erect in the saddle. He calls my attention to something, probably to the fact that I have a very bad seat. Now I begin to feel more and more at ease on the back of my highly intelligent horse. I sit more comfortably, and I found that I'm quite at home up here. My saddle is a sort of pad, which completely fills the space between the neck and the rump of the horse. I ride between two vans and just manage to clear them. After riding up the street for some distance, I turn around and wish to dismount. At first in front of a little open chapel, which is built facing onto the street. Then I do really dismount in front of a chapel which stands near the first one. The hotel is in the same street. I might let the house go there by itself, but I prefer to lead it thither. Thither. It seems as though I should be ashamed to arrive there on horseback. In front of the hotel there stands a page boy who shows me a note of mine which has been found, and ridicules me on account of it. On the note is written, doubly underlined, eat nothing, and then a second sentence, indistinct, something like do not work. At the same time, a hazy idea that I'm in a strange city in which I do not work. Which of the following is not true? External objective stimulus they will be expressed more rarely or more frequently in the case of one person than in that of another. The nature of the dream can be changed by somatic material, much the same thing in other dreams, where the somatic stimulus is able to itself to generate a wish. Why did I feel at ease when I'm riding a horse, even though I have a bad seat? Because I'm good at riding horse, because I enjoy the moment of riding, because my colleague calls my attention. What is the theme of this passage? Somatic material, the source of dream. Only memories can stimulate the creation of the dream. The material factor can change the nature of the dream.
The material and
The
sources
material
of dreams. The somatic sources
of dream.
The nature of the
The
dream is
nature of
not
the dream
altered
is
when
not
somatic
altered when
material is
somatic
added to the
material is
psychic
added to
dream
the psychic
sources.
dream
It still
sources.
remains a
It
wish
still remains a
fulfillment,
wish
no matter how
fulfillment,
its
no matter
expression
how
is
its
determined
expression
by the
is
actual
determined by the
material
actual
available.
material available.
I should like to
I should
find
like to
room
find
here for a
room
number
here
of
for a number of
peculiarities
peculiar
which are able to modify the significance of
external
external
stimuli
stimuli
for the dream.
I imagine
I
that a
imagine that
cooperation
a
of individual,
cooperation of
physiological, and
physical
accidental factors, which
physics
depend on the circumstances of the moment,
for the moment
determine how one will
determines how
behave
one
in
will behave
individual
in
cases of
individual
more
cases
intensive
or more
objective
intensive
stimulation
objective
during sleep.
stimulation during sleep.
Habitual or
Habitual
accidental
or
profundity
accidental
of sleep,
profundity
in
of sleep,
conjunction with the
in
intensity of
conjunction
the
with the
stimulus,
intensity of the
will in one
stimulus,
case make
will
it
in one
possible
case
so
make
to
it
suppress the
possible to
stimulus that it will
suppress
not disturb the
the
sleeper,
stimulus that will
while in
disturb
another case
while
it
in
will
another
force the
case it
sleeper
will
to
force
wake,
the sleeper
or
to
will
wake,
assist the
or
attempt to
will
subdue
assist
the
the attempt
stimulus
to
by
solve the
weaving it into the
stimulus by
texture
weaving
of the
it
dream.
into the text of the
In
dream.
accordance with the
In accordance
multiplicity of
with the
these
multiplicity of
constellations,
these
external
constellations,
objective
external
stimuli will
object
be
stimuli
expressed more rarely or
will be
more
expressed more
frequently in the case of
frequently in the
one
case of
person
one
than in that
person
of another.
than in that of another.
In my own
In my
case,
own
since I
case,
am an
since
excellent
I am an
sleeper and
excellent sleeper and
obstinately refuse to allow
obstinately
myself to be
refuse
disturbed during
to
sleep on any pretext
medical
whatever,
pretext whatever,
this intrusion of
this
external
intrusion of
causes of
external causes
excitation
of the
into my dreams is
excitation into
very
my
rare,
dream is very
whereas
rare.
psychic motives
Whereas
apparently
psychic
cause me to
motive is
dream very
apparently cause
easily.
me to dream very easily.
Indeed, I have
Indeed,
noted
I have
only a
no
single dream in
only a
which an
single dream
objective,
in
painful
which an
source of
objective
stimulation
painful
is
source of
demonstrable,
stimulation
and
it
it will
is
be
not,
highly
and it will be
instructive to
highly
see what
instructive to
effect the
see what
external
effect
stimulus had in this
stimulus
particular
had
dream.
in this particular
I
dream.
am riding
I
a
am
grey
riding a grey
horse,
horse,
at
at first
timidly and
timidly
awkwardly,
and
as though I
awkwardly,
were merely
as I
carried
were
along.
merely carried
Then
along.
I meet a
Then I meet
colleague,
a
he,
colleague,
also on
he
horseback,
also
and dressed
horseback
in
and
rough
dressed in a
frieze.
rough frieze.
He is sitting
He is
erect in the
sitting
saddle.
erect in the
He
saddle.
calls my
He calls
attention
my
to
attention
something,
to something,
probably to the fact that
probably
I
to
have
the
a very
fact that
bad
I have a
seat.
very bad seat.
Now I begin to
Now
feel
I
more
begin
and
to
more
feel
at
more
ease
and
on the
more at
back of my
ease on the
highly
back of my
intelligent
highly
horse.
intelligent horse.
I sit
I
more
sit more
comfortably, and I
comfortably,
find that I am
and
quite at
I
home up
found
here.
that I'm quite at
My
home
saddle is a sort of
up here.
pad, which completely fills the
Fills
space
the
between the
space
neck
between
and
the
the rump
neck
of the
and the ramps of a horse.
I ride
I
between
ride
two
between two
vans
vans
and just
and
manage
just
to clear
managed to
them.
clear them.
After riding up the
After
street for
riding up
some
the streets
distance,
of some
I turn
distance,
round and wish to
I turned
dismount,
around. I
at
wished to
first in front of a
dismount.
little
At the
open
first in
chapel
front
which
of
is
a
built
little open
facing onto
chapel,
the
which
street.
is built facing
Then
onto
I
the
do
street.
really
Then I
dismount
do
in front of
really
a chapel
dismount in
which
front of a
stands near the
chapel,
first one.
stands nearly
The
the first
hotel
one.
is
The
in the
hotel
same
is in the
street.
same
I
street.
might let the
I
horse
might let
go
the
there by
horse go there
itself,
by
but I
itself,
prefer to
but I
lead it
prefer to
thither.
lead it
It seems
thither.
as though I should
It
be
seems as
ashamed
though
to
I should
arrive
be
there on
ashamed to
horseback.
arrive there on
In
horseback.
front of the
In
hotel
front of
there
the
stands a
hotel there
page
stands a
boy
page
who
boy
shows me a
who
note of
shows me a
mine which
note
has been
of
found
mine
and
which has
ridicules
been
me on
found,
account
and
of it.
ridicules me
On the
on
note
account of
is
it. On
written,
the note is
doubly
written,
underlined,
doubly
eat
underlined,
nothing,
eat
and
nothing,
then a
and
second
then a second
sentence,
sentence,
indistinct,
indistinct,
something like,
something
do
like
not
do not
work.
work.
At the same
At the
time, a
same time,
hazy
a
idea
hazy
that I am in a
idea
strange
that I'm
city
in a
in which
strange
I do not
city in which
work.
I do not work. Be determined by 由什么什么决定 the nature of. The nature of the dream is not alerted when somatic material is added to the psychic dream sources. It still remains a wish fulfillment, no matter how its expression is determined by the actual material available. 这里的前半句是问引导的时间状语从句，意为当肉体方面的来源被添加到梦的源头的时候 ，no matter 引导的让步状语从句，意为无论梦想的实现的表现如何取决于现有的实际材料。其中 alter 这里做动词表示改变，前半句话表示梦的本质不会被改变。这里的前半句是问引导的时间状语从句，意为当肉体方面的来源被添加到梦的源头的时候 ，no matter 引导让步状语从句。意思为无论梦想的实现的表现如何取决于现有的实际材料。The nature of the dream is not alerted when somatic material is added to the psychic dream sources. It will remain a wish fulfillment, no matter how its expression is determined by the actual material available. Peculiarity, that of course reflects the peculiarity of the case. That of course reflects the peculiarity of the case. Stimuli, stimuli 在文中做名词，意为刺激、刺激物、促进因素。The less outside stimuli, the easier it is for you to focus on your message. The significance of depend on 是什么什么而定，依赖于、取决于。In conjunction with 连接、连带。I should like to find room here for a number of peculiarities which are able to modify the significance of external stimuli for the dream. I imagine that a cooperation of individual, psychological, physiological, and accidental factors, which depended on the circumstance of the moment, determines how one will behave in individual cases of more intensive objective stimulation during sleep, habitually or accidentally profundity of sleep in conjunction with the intensity of the stimulus will in one case make it possible so to suppress the stimulus that it will not disturb the sleeper, while in another case it will force the sleeper to wake or will assist the attempt to subdue the stimulus by weaving it into the texture of the dream. Constellation 其实你最知道了，挺难这个事儿。Constellation, fixed star constellations and configurations. Fixed star constellations are configurations of stars visible in the sky. Fixed star constellations are configurations of stars visible in the sky in accordance with. Indeed, I have noted only a single dream in which an objective painful source of stimulations is demonstrated, and it will be highly instructive to see what effect the external stimulus had in this particular dream. 这个句子的意思是，事实上我只注意到一个梦，其中客观痛苦的刺激来源是可以证明的，这将是非常有益的。看看外部刺激在这个特定的梦中有什么影响。句子可以分为两部分，前半部分是位置引导的定语从句，后半部分表示目的。In accordance with the multiplicity of this constellation, external objectives stimuli will be expressed more rarely or more frequently in the cases of one person than in that of another. In my own case, since I'm an excellent sleeper and obstinately refuse to allow myself to be disturbed during sleep on any pretext whatever, this intrusion of external causes excitation into my dreams is very rare. Various psychic motives apparently cause me to dream very easily. Indeed, I have not only a single dream in which an objective, painful source of stimulation is demonstrable, and it will be highly instructive to see what effect the external stimulus had in this particular dream. Phrase 在文中做名词，这里为启容粗泥。The paths were then recorded into a phrasal map. Call one's attention 吸引注意力。Feel at ease 自在，心里踏实，感到轻松。I'm riding a grey horse at first timidly and awkwardly, as though I were merely carried along. Ride a horse 表示骑马 ，though 引导一个方式状语从句，表示好像我是被牵着走的。I'm riding a grey horse at first timidly and awkwardly, as though I were merely carried along. Then I meet a colleague. P, also on horseback and dressed in rough frieze.
Freeze.
He is sitting erect in the saddle. He calls my attention to something, probably to the fact that I have a very bad seat. Now I begin to feel more and more at ease on the back of my highly intelligent horse. I sit more comfortably, and I found that I'm quite at home up here. Rump, 臀部。狩猎的 The horse plucked a tail feather from his rump. Page boy, the page boy was sent to the to restore his family's wealth。在文中做名词，意为听小差送报纸的 hazy。在文中做形容词，意为模糊的、朦胧的、记不清的。After a few days, the details get hazy. Manage to. It seems as though I should be ashamed to arrive this on horseback in front of the hotel. There stands a page boy who shows me a note of mine which has been found and ridicules me on account of it. It seems as though 表示似乎会，看起来像。be ashamed to 表示对什么什么感到羞耻。In front of the hotel there stands a page boy who shows me a note of mine which has been found and ridicules me on account of it. 这个句子介词短语 in front of 位于句首句子，需要倒装，因此 there stands a page boy 后面是 which 引导的定语从句。